Have you ever put your heart and soul into something? Have you ever had big dreams about what your life could look like? Have you ever placed your trust in others with no guarantee that things would work out? Chances are the answer is yes. Chances are you're thinking of a relationship with a man where you devoted all your energy to try to make things work, only to realize that it was not meant to be. In today's Love You podcast, I'm going to tell you two stories. One is about my marriage. One is about my new website, which is dropping on Tuesday, April 20th. Both of these stories have happy endings. Yours can too. Stick around. I'm Marc, Katz, dating coach for smart, strong, successful women and your personal trainer for love. Welcome to the Love You podcast. Keep listening to discover how to know if your relationship will work out. And if you're watching on YouTube, at the end, you'll get a sneak peek of my new website before it goes live. When we're done, I'll let you know how you could apply to Love You to create a passionate relationship in which you feel safe, heard, and understood. All right. So this is a big day here at the Love You podcast. First, I'm going to answer one of the most popular questions that I get from women. How can I tell that things are going to work out? After I'm done, I'm going to share a quick sneak peek of my new website, evanmarckatz.com, which has been in the works for literally over a year now and is going live next Tuesday, April 20th. And believe it or not, I'm going to tie those two things together artfully as I can. So I want to begin today by asking you to imagine the relationship in which you invested the most time, the most energy, the most passion, the one where you tried the hardest to make it work, the one that you still have a little bit of trouble accepting is not meant to be. So for 17 years, I have listened to women like you tell me your stories, and this is one that's all too familiar. Whether I'm hearing the story of a divorced woman who was married for 24 years, or hearing the tale of a woman who stuck around for 4 years without a wedding ring, there's always one question that I ask, and it's not surprisingly a challenging question. When did you know that there was something fundamentally wrong with your relationship? When did you see parts of his personality that were problematic? The answers vary, but not by very much. 3 months, 6 months, 1 year. Virtually every woman I've ever coached recognized that there were major incompatibilities within that first year of dating. Maybe he had anger issues. Maybe he didn't see you consistently. Maybe he ran hot and cold and wasn't sure if he wanted a future with you or with anybody. Maybe he was highly critical or verbally abusive. Maybe he wasn't sensitive to your needs. Maybe he simply wasn't as nice as he was in the exciting first few months of the relationship. All of my clients saw these red flags in their boyfriends and decided to ignore them. The lucky ones hung on for 4 years and got dumped. The unlucky ones wasted almost their entire adult lives. Every single one filtered out this evidence of what kind of man and what kind of relationship she had on her hands. Ignoring the fact that he was incapable of making you feel happy or relaxed or at ease. All because sometimes he was nice. Sometimes he said he loved you. Sometimes he made love and felt connected. Sometimes he made you happier than you've ever felt before. Right? These little spikes of pleasure. The problem is that these isolated moments don't tell the true story of your relationship. The true story is the silent suffering. It's the constant anxiety of whether you are allowed to speak your mind, and if you do, whether it's going to cause a fight. And if it causes a fight, whether that fight will cause you to break up. It's being lonely within the relationship and feeling trapped because you've convinced yourself that this is what love feels like. Well, love, evidently, is fear and anxiety punctuated with occasional bursts of pleasure. Back in high school, I was the nice guy, nerdy guy who befriended all the beautiful women in hopes that they'd fall for me. That doesn't work, by the way. All right? So take this with a grain of salt. I was a bitter nerd who couldn't get laid. But I figured something out. An asshole, and you can quote me, An asshole is a great guy 80% of the time. He's just 20% too much asshole. So that was wisdom from a 16-year-old virgin. And it turned out to be right. When you're in love, you spend so much time justifying and rationalizing why your relationship should work. He said he loved me. He said he couldn't imagine his life without me. He said I was the most beautiful woman he's ever seen. He said he never felt like this with anybody before. Okay. And those rare moments become markers of what you consider a successful relationship, even though a vast majority of the time you're agonizing inside about how fragile the whole thing makes you feel. So when the question comes up, how do you know if it's right? I can tell you one way to know that it's wrong: that consistent feeling of fear and anxiety. What you may associate with being in love or feeling butterflies is really a bodily reaction to your own insecurity. This feeling is the opposite of what healthy, lasting love actually feels like. And to be fair, it took me forever to figure this out. Like forever to figure this out. My story is oft told, but I'll tell a brief version of it because I think it matters here. The most certain I ever was that it was meant to be with someone was with my girlfriend when I was 31 years old. She was 6 years older than I was. Always liked older women. 6 years older, smart, strong, successful, had everything going for her, Ivy League education, nice condo in Santa Monica, a really impressive person, a good person. And I was crazy about her, irrationally crazy about her. I thought I met my soulmate. I thought that was it. This is the one. Within 2 weeks, we were declaring our love for each other. And I was never more nervous. It's only in retrospect that I figured that out. But when I was in it, I was thrilled that I met the one and completely anxious, couldn't eat, couldn't sleep, couldn't figure out why. Right? And so as time went on, I fell deeper and deeper. And as time went on, in her head, she was realizing, I don't think this guy's the one, which doesn't mean she's wrong. Right? The more information she gathered, the more she thought after diving into this pool with me, maybe I should rethink things. So 3 months into this, where I was head over heels, right, planning my future, trying to figure out if I was emotionally ready to get married and have kids, because she was 38 and I had to move really quickly. Suddenly rugs pulled out from under me and I have to reevaluate everything, reevaluate myself. What's wrong with me? Nothing. Not nothing, but there was nothing wrong with me that caused her to break up. There was nothing I could do. Right? And what's wrong with my judgment that I thought this feeling that was so right turned out to be so wrong? And it's because I was substituting blind chemistry and likeness, right, the appearance that we were compatible, with actual compatibility. Actual compatibility is about how well the system works, how well the unit works. Right? We weren't compatible because I was Jewish and she was Jewish, or we both went to fancy schools, or we both read the New York Times, and that didn't make, we met doing volunteer work together. That doesn't make us compatible. That just meant we were similar. So I had to really reevaluate what I was valuing, right, as compatible. And it really made me rethink everything in terms of how I was living my life and how I was coaching. Remember, this topic is, how do you know when it's right? So I'm telling you the story of the time that I most knew that it was right, and I was completely wrong. Right? Fast forward a few years, I go through some dating, a few more prolific years of online dating between 31 and 34. Have another girlfriend who is closer to what I'm looking for, but was also not right for me. And I'm suddenly dating someone who I wouldn't have chosen online. Right? Her profile wouldn't have been impressive. I would have been, wish she wouldn't have found me because she was Catholic. She wasn't looking for a Jewish guy. She was 3 years older than my max age range because I wanted to have 2 kids. I wasn't going to be looking for older women when I was 34. And we met at a party and we talk at this potluck and we're talking for 5 hours. And we shut down the party and we continued the conversation till 3 a.m. And we never stopped talking. And it was effortless and it was easy. And when I was talking to her, I wasn't sure that I was hitting on her. It wasn't like an agenda I had. I wasn't trying to figure out where this was going or whether she was my wife or whether even I was going to hook up. It was just an easy, effortless conversation. And at a certain point, I realized, oh, this is what good relationships feel like. It's ease. It is letting down your guard, knowing you can be yourself, not having to worry, not having that sense of anxiety, not having the butterflies. Right? The butterflies made me sick to my stomach and stopped me from sleeping. And I thought that was love. So I challenge you to consider every time you've had those butterflies, how's it worked out for you? Yeah, I thought so. So maybe we reconsider. Maybe that's why you're watching this video today. Maybe you understand and embrace the idea that when things are right, it's not because there's butterflies or rainbows or a sign from God that it's your soulmate. It is the ease, it's the lack of anxiety, it's the feeling of trust, it's the feeling of letting down your hair. And when I say trust, I'm not just talking about like, very basic trust. I'm talking about way beyond, I trust her to not cheat on me. I'm talking about trusting her over the course of time as the mother of my children, trusting her with my bank account, trust her with my life. This is the person I'm building the foundation of my life on. I talk to women who don't even trust their boyfriends. What's the point of having a boyfriend if you can't trust them? So in my relationship, and the one that worked, I never had a question as to whether she was going to break up with me. I was never anxious. That's how secure I felt. That was the feeling, secure. From that place of security, I could then evaluate, is this the person I want to marry? So there was a question about, and there should be a question about whether two people should spend the next 40 years together. That's a very reasonable question. But there was never a question about her as a person. I want you to choose men like this. You can't question your guy as to whether he's the kind of person you could build a life with. You have to know that. Then you just have to ask yourself, is this the person I could see myself marrying? And so many women give their power away. Right? You get your hooks into some guy and you're like, I hope this one works out. What am I going to do to make him like me? And you're anxiously hoping he's going to propose. And at a certain point, when the relationship goes bad, now you don't even want the guy. You just want the proposal. You put in your time and you double down on a mistake because you're afraid, because you've put in some time, because you want to get a ring, because you're afraid you can't do better. And then the next thing you know, you're married to someone who makes you feel anxious, where you have to constantly work on your relationship to keep your family together. And the next thing you know, you're in your 50s and you wonder, where did I go wrong? You went wrong in the first couple months. You married someone who didn't make you feel safe, heard, and understood. You ignored this vital need for this trust and this ease, even though you didn't have it, and you knew you didn't have it past that first year when the mask slipped and you saw what kind of man you really had on your hand. So as a woman, you have to listen to your emotions. You have to listen to your intuitions instead of ignoring them just because it's inconvenient to start dating again or scary to break up with a guy. As your dating coach, as the creator of Love You, I've taken thousands of women through this process. I give you a little dollops here on my podcast and on YouTube. But Love You is a process. Month 1 is on confidence. Month 2 is on meeting men. Month 3 is on dating. Month 4, understanding men. Month 5, relationships. Month 6, commitment. Every single week, you get access to a half-hour of video, audio, transcripts, and exercises that teach you everything you need to know to make smart decisions from a place of confidence and abundance. And after 5 years of teaching Love You, I realized that my website, in its current form, wasn't doing a great job of telling the story about what it is that I really do. So just over a year ago, I hired an incredible team of designers to take 1,500 blog posts, 200 podcasts, and all these Love You success stories that we've had, clean it up, consolidate it into one tight, awesome, amazing website. And that was the beginning of the hardest project that I've ever tackled. And keep in mind, I have written 4 books, a dozen screenplays. I've built a number of websites, but this was a completely different ball of wax. This was like, I'm currently living in a house built in the 1960s, and I'm going to buy a plot of land. I'm going to hire an architect. I'm going to choose all the materials, and I'm going to build my dream palace from scratch. That's what it was like to build this website. It was so much harder, so much more time consuming, so much more expensive than I planned, but I didn't really have a choice. This is just what had to be done to produce the thing that I'm ready to give to you. So I wanted to have this thing up in fall because I started last spring. I wanted to have it up in fall. And then I moved the due date to December 31st. And then I moved the due date to Valentine's Day. And then I moved the date to April 1st. Joke's on me. I fell short of all of those deadlines because I am a terrible perfectionist. I just didn't want to give the old Marc Katz site, which I know you've come to love. I didn't want to give it like a facelift or a paint job. I wanted it to be the best dating and relationship advice site in the entire world, bar none. I want it to be a one-stop shop where you can get all your questions answered, where you can literally go to the blog, Google an answer, and know that I've written an article about that. And if you like this article, you're going to like this product that has to do with this article. I mean, the amount of thought we put into organizing it is unparalleled. Right? So you have access to all this free content, plus all my digital programs, all my coaching programs, very easily accessible and easy to understand. And more pointedly for you, since that's what we're here for, whether you're taking a break from dating, whether you're actually dating right now, or whether you're in a relationship, I created a custom journey for you to take when you reach my website. Right? You literally go in there, tell me where you're at in your dating journey, and I will send you specific emails that meet you where you're at. So without further ado, as a gift to those gluttons for punishment who've been following me for a while and are watching right now on YouTube, the audio podcast people, I don't know what's in it for you, but the YouTube people, I'm going to give you a sneak peek of the new evanmarckatz.com. And this is why I am filming on Zoom today. I'm going to share my screen and we're going to see if this is going to work. I'm going to show you my fancy new website. Right? Nice. So, new logo with the rings kind of tells the whole story. This is a real picture of me. I know I don't always look that good, but this isn't heavily photoshopped. This is what I actually look like. And what I really wanted to highlight from the top of the page was that I'm talking directly to you. Are you the woman who is everything except your man? You're kind, smart, and financially independent, but you still can't attract a high-quality guy who's right for you. Join me in Love You to discover the secrets to finding lasting love with an attractive, commitment-oriented man who takes care of you and always makes you feel safe, heard, and understood. So things you've heard me say before, right there on the homepage. The most important thing I really wanted to highlight that wasn't highlighted on my old website are the people. All over this website, these are Love You couples. These are real couples. These are real women that have worked with me who volunteered to share their photos with me. Right? Yeah, there's a little bit about me, but the real focus is on you. There's a quiz. This is more about Love You, access to all my programs, and then this overall feeling of peace. Right? I'm a beach guy. Beach is my happy place. More photos of happy clients, pyramid of love, which I'll walk you through later. That's on the top of every single blog post. And again, more Love You love stories all over the website. Blog, podcast, YouTube channel, and all these 1,500 articles that I wrote, that I went through this massive spreadsheet and categorized where they should fall in the sort of love you taxonomy. Month 1, confidence; month 2, meeting men. So each of them, each blog post has a label. I know it's a lot. You come here, you start with a mega menu. If you're like, I don't know what to do, we created this menu so you could search all the free resources on this site. Here's the quiz that I'm going to encourage you to take. Everybody who's watching, I want you to take this quiz, because this is how we segment whether you're dating, taking a break, or in a relationship. You take the quiz. If you already know what you're interested in subject-wise, we've got all the blog posts historically, 15 years of blog posts categorized by confidence, meeting men, dating, understanding men, relationships, and commitment. We've done the same thing for podcasts down here. And we're running out of room. And then we have programs, Love You Digital. This is the Love You program without the coaching component. My programs, Why He Disappeared, Believe in Love, Finding the One Online, Focus Coaching, and E-Cyrano profile writing. So everything is a lot more neatly laid out. And then there's this pyramid of love, which is sort of a core piece of content where if you haven't seen it, make sure you take the time to go there. Let's click on the blog for a second, just so you can see. So yeah, forgive the ugliness here. We're importing all the new blog posts right now. But basically, you can go step by step through the pyramid and find blog posts that are related to your topic. This is the main blog. But if you go to, let's say, month 1 on confidence, we have subcategories, not just categories, subcategories, which list, right, at least 10 articles on every subcategory. So it's so very specific. It's not just a broad thing on confidence. It's, okay, he's pulling away. Here's 10 articles on him pulling away. I don't trust my judgment. Here's 10 articles on I don't trust my judgment. Should I stay with him? So we really, really went through and made it so user-friendly so you could find the free material that you need to answer your most pressing dating and relationship questions on any blog post. Let's see if this works. Maybe it won't. It probably won't work right now. But on every single blog post, we have this pyramid, right? And this pyramid what is literally the best advice from Love You put on the page. So you can go through, if you got 40 minutes to kill, you can go through and read this entire story that shows you the most important things that you need to know to make better relationship choices with men. One big tip from each month of Love You. The thing that really excites me the most, of course, is Love You. Here's the Love You page. This works. Let's hope it works. So we've laid out everything that you get in Love You. So it tells a whole story, which is all a true story on how you feel right now, what's not working for you. Take your time to read it. This is not something to rush through. But the most important thing is, if you have been watching these videos, listening to these podcasts, and you don't know what Love You is about, you click on the Love You link at the top of my new website on April 20th and go to this page, and it tells you the story, right? And you learn about other women who've joined Love You and the communities that we have and the retreats that we have and the success stories that we've had, right? And it's all laid out very, very clearly on the page, right? We have FAQs if you're curious, but the big thing is that you're going to click on this link to apply to Love You. Okay. I'll remove that. I'm not going to apply right now, but you go to this page, put in your email address, and it'll take you here. When you get here, there's this video. Guys, I told you I've been working hard for the past year. I'm super proud of this. It's 22 minutes long. It provides a lot of free information about what you're going through, some advice for you, a 2-part formula to help you understand men and create lasting love. And at the end of this video, if you're inspired, if you think that you need some Love You in your life, you could click on a button, right? There'll be an application that shows up at the bottom after you watch this video, and you fill out an application to talk to one of our Love You advisors. And if you're a good fit for Love You and you're qualified, we'll enroll you into the course and you can join the thousands of women who've already taken Love You and seen results. Most importantly, my favorite page is the Love You Love Stories page. I'll take you all the way back to the home page for you to see it. But I think it's important that you know why we're here, most importantly. I've been gathering these for years. I never had an opportunity to put it all together. I needed a lot of people's help. I needed a lot of people's permission. There are many folks who have come through this course who don't want to admit that they had a dating coach, are deathly afraid of anybody seeing them, don't want to admit it to their husbands. So these are the brave women who've gone through Love You and are willing to share their stories. And if you go through this page, it's not just little pictures on here. You can click on any one person and read her entire love story. Right. That's right. So there's, I don't know, maybe 100 of these things on this page where you can go through and read people's love stories, and you can see there's someone just like me here. Right. There's people who are in Australia. There are people who are in their 40s and have never been married before. There's people who are 80. There are people who are immigrants. There are people who are Indian and Asian and African American, right, in their 60s. People who've had families. So this is the page that excites me the most on my entire website, is the Love You Love Stories page. So I just figured I would mention that to you right here before we wrapped up. As you can see, I put a lot of thought into this, and I didn't just do it for me. I did it for you, because no matter where you are, no matter where you live, what you do, you deserve to have love in your life, and you deserve to have the life that you've always dreamed about. And I really want to help you get it. So if you're not on my mailing list yet, I don't know what you're waiting for. Make a note on your calendar. Really, you calendar other things. Make a note on your calendar, and Evan's saying so, to go to evanmarkkatz.com on April 20th, right? Put in your name, take the quiz, go through, explore. And if you're already on my list, stay tuned for my official launch email that's going to go out that morning. I love you. I appreciate you. I very much look forward to seeing you in Love You, and I appreciate your time today. Thanks.